Good morning and welcome to my series of conversations with Stalwarts in music. Today's episode is so very special and it will forever remain close to my heart. It's being partnered by Perpetual Buzz Experiences, which is an artist representation company with three basic but very lofty goals. They are the launching platform for a couple of independent musicians across the world, and they help leverage their success, producing very memorable experiences for music lovers. They also help generate funding for social causes and make sure that people have a great experience in terms of the process. Be sure to check them out on www.perpetualbuzz.com. We also have yet another sponsor, which is Wireup Music Store, one of the finest music retail stores with state-of-art equipment, your one-stop solution for the best musical gear, from guitars to ukulele and a lot of percussive instruments. And to top it off, they have a wide range of classical instruments as well. Do check out their Instagram page, which is wireup.india. Coming to my main focus for today, my guest today is from the world of rock music. He's a singer of the rock group Mr. Big, and he also has featured as part of the Tak Matsumoto group. And he has his own project, which is the Eric Martin project, which has done some phenomenal work in the world of music. Eric had a very early introduction in terms of music by his father, who was a drummer of the band The Buzz. Growing up as a little boy, he used to listen to a lot of soul, jazz, and R&B music. He has definitely punched a hole in the world of music with hits like To Be With You and Wild World during his time in Mr. Big, which went nuclear on the musical charts from different parts of the world. Interestingly, he was invited by King of Tripura a couple of years back, and the people of India were gracious enough to be part of this lovely musical experience, and he received major adulation by the people of India, who have continued to worship him in terms of his impeccable vocal abilities and his contributions to rock. I'm talking about a man who seriously needs no introduction. If you don't know who this guy is, you've been living under a rock. There's no better rock vocalist I've known till date. We will be shortly awaiting his arrival as part of this lovely interview. So I request you to kindly tune in and be part of this lovely interview. Namaste, Eric. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How you doing?
Very well, very well. It's a total honor to be talking to you from this part of India.
Yeah, I can't believe that I haven't spoke to anybody from India for quite some time. And we've talked before, haven't we?
No, this is the first time. Yeah, and I'm sure we will definitely talk on many more occasions.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Great. So let's get started with my agenda for today. I have a couple of interesting questions as part of this interview series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we live?
Yes, we're live. So this is live on Instagram as well. We can't see it. We can't really see it. However, on Instagram, people from different parts of the world are watching our live stream. You know, since this is on Zoom, you can't really see the other.
You're confusing me.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right.
All right, man.
Anyway,
what's happening? How are you?
Very well. I couldn't be happier. You know, I haven't slept last night because I was really looking forward to talking to you. You know, I just have butterflies.
Butterfly. I love butterflies
in my stomach. Yeah. So great.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You know, like I was doing that promo video for you guys, but you know, I I forget the time zones. Look, I forget my own lyrics to my songs too, you know,
That's
but
all right. That's all right.
yeah,
You can
I'm
just
sorry about
focus. You can just focus on your musical pursuits. We are here.
that.
We are here for you. We are here for your music. Don't worry
Oh,
about that.
right on, man. You're so kind. Okay.
Great. So, music is abstract in the sense that, unlike a writer who writes and expresses ideas, what does music express for you?
Well, it's everything. I don't know any different.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I was a little kid,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, music was, well, it was a form of expression. Look, I know this is going to sound kind of silly and shallow right now, but I couldn't talk to girls when I was younger. Like I see a pretty girl and I'm like, I was tongue tied. And I, I thought instead of going to the store, and this is the 70s, the greeting cards were terrible. So and I felt like I could write something better than that. So I basically use music as my form of expression, or flirting or whatever, to talk to a girl. Um, it music. I don't know if this is part of the expression, but it opened up so many doors. Like I felt like I was doing an audition my whole life. For a part in a play maybe, or some show, or just people were like, over the years, people would say, "You look familiar. Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm the one who," you know what I mean?
I feel you.
And yeah, it's 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 a it's everything to do with my life. I was going to say a part of something, but it's everything to do with my life. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Did I answer that correctly? How
Well, you
much did I
did.
win? Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
I would give you a 9.5. The reason being the 0.5 I'm going to evaluate based on your answer to my next question. If you
Oh,
answer it better, I'll give you a 10 on 10.
all right, man.
If I were to tell you my absolute favorite rock ballad of all time, that would be Daddy Brother, Lover Little Boy. I'm sure you're sick of hearing this from your audience. How long did it take you to arrange this entire song, and what was the inspiration behind this? How many vocal takes did this take to pass through?
Okay, you said ballad. I don't think you meant ballad, because Daddy Brother is not a ballad. I don't know if they,
Mhm.
it's more like, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's more up-tempo rock.
Mhm.
That song was written musically by Paul Gilbert, and
Sure.
I think Billy Sheehan as well.
Mhm.
Um, and I have to go a little backstory here. So Billy and Paul and our drummer Pat lived in LA, and I live in the San Francisco Bay Area.
All right.
So I used to have to commute pretty much every weekend. I
Mhm.
mean, it would be like a 3 or 4 day weekend, but I commute back and forth. So they would write the music, and we put it on cassette tapes, because it was cassettes back in the day. I don't know if you kids know what a cassette is.
I know what a cassette is. I still have a huge collection at my
Oh
place.
yeah, dude, you can still buy
Yeah.
the recorders or the ghetto blasters, or whatever you want to
Yeah.
say. But
And the
anyway,
Walkmans are like the
oh, you got a
best.
Walkman? Oh wow, you're old school, young man. Uh,
Yeah.
so where am I at in this conversation? So the band would give me, we'd
Mhm.
practice, and I'd sing "Baby Baby This," and before I even wrote lyrics to it, and come up with a melody of the song, and then I'd gather all these cassettes in a bag, and I take them home to San Francisco Bay Area, like I said, and I just write melodies and lyrics to all these songs. And Daddy Brother was one of them, like that. And this is kind of a twist, because Billy had written the title, Daddy
Mhm.
Brother Lover Little Boy, and he written some lyrics to it, and I was like, no offense, but I'm gonna write. I didn't say I could do a better job than you did. I said I'm gonna write a song with that title about you. And he was like, okay, So I went back, and the whole song is basically about Billy Sheehan,
Mhm. Mhm.
and his kind of his love life or whatever, condensed into one.
Mhm.
And then I just came up with a bunch of melodies, and that's how I would always do it. I'd come back to practice the next weekend, and I'd go, You know that little cassette tape? We used to call it sniglets,
All right.
like little tidbits, little pieces of songs. They weren't finished songs at all, man. It was just like a lot of this, you know, and just kind of riffs, like Alive and Kicking. And I just have that piece. And then I take it back and I write a little bit, and then I take it back and forth. And by the end of a couple of weeks, there would be a song. But on that song, I go, hey, you remember that idea, Daddy Brother, Love a Little Boy? Yeah. I go, well, here it is, finished, you know? And then, you know, my versions of the songs were always pretty stripped down, acoustic kind of vibe. And I'd give it to them and they would make it epic, you know? But Daddy Brother, we're going to go through like millions of songs. Let's do it, man. I'm ready. Let's go. Bring it.
All right. Speaking of today's society, what do you think the society needs from musicians right now? What do you think it needs from musicians to change the course of destiny given the current scenario, the pandemic and all of that?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, it's the obvious. I mean, people are starved for entertainment. And I kind of know firsthand because I've been playing around the United States. Not a lot. I mean, God, I mean, I'm used to touring all the time, but I played probably about 25 shows this year, which is nothing, but people are coming out. People are, you know, they are starved for it. They, you know, I just played in Latin America and South America, and
Sure.
man, I got to tell you, it was the greatest feeling in the whole wide world. I mean, I haven't heard cheers in years, you know. I haven't heard cheers like that for a long time, since the 90s, I think. But people, I mean, as an entertainer, sitting on my ass for the last 2 years, not really doing that much, you know, just a lot of eating and drinking. Thank God this computer only goes this far, because down below, easily 700 pounds. But, um,
But
you
you
know, I
still
mean,
got the looks on point. I must say that.
oh, well, it's probably like some kind of weird, you probably have a filter right
Not
here.
at all.
Now,
Not at all. I completely disagree on that. You still are the same old charming young man I saw a couple of years back.
very well. I'm in my 40s now, so wait a
Doesn't
minute,
look like it.
this is the part where lightning strikes. But God, where are we talking? What are we talking about right now? So yeah, they are I think fans, and there's a lot of bands that are going out now to try to get, you know, they're rushing to get to different parts of the world. I mean, being in Latin America and South America was my first time being out of the country in 2 years. As an entertainer, I couldn't wait to do my thing on stage, you know. Well, I don't know what this is, but
no, I've seen that. I think I've seen that in one of your videos.
I'm a dancer now. No, go ahead.
Yeah. I've seen that in one of your videos. You kind of flip the mic stand and you do that steering wheel thing, the maneuver. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, one of my crew guys from a long time ago, his name is Rip. He created this steering wheel for me on the back of the mic, on the bottom of the mic, mainly because they used to knock it over a lot. And when it's like that, it's like a rubber steering wheel. And if you hit the microphone, it kind of bounces back.
Right.
Very practical, but so cool, you know. And yeah, I used to use that prop for Alive and Kicking, you know, jump into the thing. I'm driving out of the country. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. What else you got for me? That's 2 questions. I can't believe it.
Yeah. Speaking of performance, you exhibit this enormous quality of surrender to music when you're either on stage. You don't necessarily stick to, say, something like sheet music. It's not entirely preconceived. When you're out there, do you allow your feelings and the moment to sometimes dictate what happens?
Man, you know, this is the part where I know you came up with that question, and that's an awesome question. Billy Sheehan used to say this thing to me all the time. He'd go, if you think, you stink. That almost like became, that was pretty deep what you just said. Can you break that down for the layman, for me. I
Sure,
miss that.
sure. Yeah. So, in the sense that, you definitely can sort of apply technical virtuosity and have like sheet music to sort of
Right, I know what you mean.
carry forward the set of instructions. But you're someone who plays by the feel of it, right? In the moment, you're a very, very, very spontaneous musician. Do you sort of make your feelings in terms of the moment to dictate what happens?
Yeah, I mean, like you know what? The thing that yeah, when I play solo stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
acoustic solo stuff, I'm cracking jokes. I'm so comfortable being on stage, especially when I'm doing that. When I'm playing rock and roll with Mr. Big, I'm kind of worried about what they think of me pleasing you, But when I do acoustic stuff, it's just like no strings attached, a lot of improv, joking around. I'm really comfortable on stage, and people see that, and they're comfortable as an audience because sometimes an audience can be kind of stiff, and
Sure.
they don't know if they have the right etiquette. It's just the right time to clap. Um, I'm Most of my performance is improv. I mean, I have things I say that are pre-planned at some. I mean, hey, look, I'll give you one. I say the same stupid thing all the time. I go, okay, so I wear glasses, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Now everybody, the cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows that now. I wear glasses. But when I'm on stage, I don't wear glasses. So I can see everybody. I can't really see too close up, but I always
Right.
go, hey, everybody. I usually, if you see me walking around, you know, I, you see me wearing glasses, but I don't wear glasses on stage. But I got to tell you, you're the best looking audience I've seen in a long time.
Thank you
Stupid
so
jokes
much.
like that. You're not laughing. Nobody laughs at the joke. I'll have some
No, I
pre-planned
felt
thing.
I felt you actually were giving it to the people of India.
No, I'm telling everybody in the world,
All
everybody
right.
thinks I'm stupid,
All
but
right. All right.
um, I don't like to. I personally don't like doing the same show every night.
All right.
Look, I'm not throwing Mr. Big under the bus. That was mainly like Pat Torpy. He was like, man, we played this show, and we
Mm-hmm.
it was like 24 songs sometimes, and say we had a great 100% show, he'd go, we got to give that same kind of performance tomorrow to the next audience. But he would say we have to do this set, and we wouldn't vary it. And uh, and so I don't like doing that. I like doing a different show each time. I don't want to sing they want to hear "To Be With You." They want to hear you folks want to hear "Promise to the Moon," "Wild World," the hits, "Super Fantastic." Even like you said, "Daddy Brother," and I got to do it exactly like it is,
Yeah.
and that's cool. But sometimes it's kind of fun to embellish a little bit and add some stuff to it. I can totally hear my manager, my old manager, not my new manager's Tim Heine manages Mr. Big, but the old manager, Herbie Herbert, he used to say, one time he heard me singing "To Be With You," and I was just kind of making it soulful. And he
Mm-hmm.
goes, no, don't do that. The fans don't want to hear that. They want to hear it exactly like it is, which is, he's right. I do give the people what they want, but I give them a little bit more too. I don't want to do the same shtick every night. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. Good enough. How do you feel about the music business nowadays? It's very different from what it was like during the 80s, 90s, and even the early 2000s. What difference do you see right now, and what direction do you see for the upcoming musicians in terms of the business side of it?
So weird. I haven't been asked this. The last time I was asked this question, the music business was like pretty good. And now it's like it's all over the place. It's kind of a young man's game anyway. I mean, I'm lucky to be there because I'm one of those in those categories like heritage bands,
Mm-hmm.
been around for a long time, had a few hits. Um, I used to say I don't pay attention to it. I get kind of depressed over it sometimes. Um, even when I hear a new artist, I'm like, oh God, thank God you're doing something, because there seems to be, the music, when I hear music now, it just sounds the same. There's just like, I'm waiting for the next big thing. Hopefully the next big thing is rock and roll again, because, it's been taking a back seat for a long time.
True.
The musical climate over the years has squeezed my kind of music out.
Mhm.
Granted, there are some countries that still have kept rock alive. I mean, there's some parts of India, of course,
Mhm.
South America still keeps rock alive, Japan, and there are a few. I'm like, I know there are people out there that go, "What about my country?" There are a little bit of little pieces here and there, but United States a little fickle. You know, when I was when I was younger in the 70s, it was king. Rock and roll was king. And now, it's okay, there's room for everybody, but um, I feel like I've been I'm lucky because I have some hits that I can
Mhm.
play. And I feel kind of bad for the new hard it's hard for the new artist because, they have to do a lot of struggle, but hey man, I struggle too. It's part of experience. But, as an artist that's been around, I kind of feel like I struggle too.
Sure.
I'm they only play, which look, there's no tears right here, but they play To Be With You and Wild World, and actually Addicted to That Rush. I heard that a lot, on Sirius radio, but
Mhm.
that's it. They don't play anything else. And the new generation, they know the song To Be With You. They probably heard it a million times from their parents, maybe, but they don't really know. Not everybody knows, who Mr. Big is, or me. Shit. Sorry for cussing here. I'm sorry. Um, I tell this story where, uh, when the first album came out, and then the second album, Lean Into It, came out, and after the shows, I'd go out to the back by the fence and talk to all the fans, and the fans. This is right before To Be With You came out, and the fans would go, "You're the singer, dude." And I go, Eric Martin. And they go, yeah, go. Can you go get Billy? Can you go get Paul? I mean, all the time, and Billy and Paul could attest to it too, because I used to have big albums and CDs and cassettes, and I go, "Are you guys coming out?" I go, "Well, not now. We're busy doing some stuff. We will be out." And I go, "Can you sign this? Because some people are leaving." I mean, I was that guy. I was like,
I think you're being too modest.
no, I was, man. I was like the fans liaison to the band. And then To Be With You was all over MTV, and I was like, a star at the moment. And I come backstage and people go, you're the, I go, Eric Martin. They go, the To Be With You guy. Anyway, the music business now, I'm not really paying attention to it. I actually I'm really open to all kinds of new music lately.
Mhm.
I've been listening to some groups from Brazil,
All right.
and
Bossa Nova? Is it Bossa Nova music? What are you listening to from Brazil?
it's I don't know how do you pronounce that name? Oshira. Oh,
All
I
right.
have it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a don't make now. I got to look it up, man.
That's
Oh
all right.
man,
That's all right. Yeah.
oh no, this is important. I know you probably got a little time left. Oh, I don't have it. But anyway,
Yeah.
and new rock and roll music.
Mm-hmm.
That's I like new rock and roll, but I like people that are influenced by the 70s kind of music. I like that kind of music, and I like good singing and melodic, melodic music melodies and all that. But um, I'm not really hip on the music business. I do know that I have a new record company now called Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Big has it, and they're re-releasing all of our albums. Just had a 30th anniversary for Lean Into It, so I'm happy about that part of the music business.
Fair enough. You were invited to India by the King of Tripura a couple of years back. Could you
That's
tell us a
right.
little about your experience playing for the people of India? Did you develop an affinity towards Indian culture and music after? I'd also like to know that.
I I did actually. I mean, because I mean, I've been to India a few times. You know, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, I think, maybe. I mean, even as a solo artist as well. And Indian bands have played on the same stage, and I've checked them out. Granted, I'm sorry, you know, names escape me. I told you earlier, I barely even I know the lyrics to Be With You.
Hmm.
All the other songs, yeah, I really have to study it. But like, yeah, some of the band's names, you know, they're in there somewhere. But I do like it. Um, yeah, the Maharaja
Yep.
of
Tripura. Tripura.
in Shillong,
Yeah.
right? Or like the province. And oh man, I was so I'm on the phone. I'm like, a Maharaja is on the phone. Nobody's believing me, you know. And this guy's a huge fan of rock and roll.
Yeah.
First, he was telling me, you know, like he brought Firehouse, I think,
Hmm.
to India. And he goes, and I'd love to bring Mr. Big. And I'm like, man, unfortunately, Mr. Big is on a hiatus.
Hmm.
That was at the time, you know. And he goes, no, but what about you? Will you come? And I'm going like, oh yeah, I'll think about it. Think about it. It like took me 5 seconds. I'm like, oh, I'm in. And I was in South America when I got the email, and I was working with a, a group of guys that I call the Road Vultures,
Hmm.
and they had never been out of South America before, and they were so good, and I brought them with me to India,
All right.
and oh, it was epic. I couldn't. First of all, when Mr. Big got back together, I go, I played in India for 28,000 people, and I go, and they're like, "Whoa, we got to go to India," right? I mean, yeah, it was probably you know the term, you know, bucket list.
Yep.
You know, you cross it off the bucket list. Oh my gosh, that was one of the best bucket lists I've ever had in my life. It was wonderful, and he indirectly, you know, well, helped get Mr. Big to come to India, so it was good. But I was first.
but
No,
we'd still love to have you because the country is so diverse in terms of musical traditions. We
yeah.
have great adulation for your music in Bangalore. We have great adulation in Chennai and other parts of India as well. On that note, when are you coming back to India?
Oh, in a heartbeat. Oh, just say, look, just ask me. You know, my
We'll
my
make that
door.
happen. We'll make that
Yeah, my
happen.
door was open. I mean, I was there 2016,
Hmm.
and I did like an acoustic tour,
All right.
and I had one of the coolest guys ever with me. This guy Marcus Granberg,
Hmm.
and oh, we had such a wonderful time. We were playing all kinds of, I mean, big places, but really, really tiny places. A lot of driving, man. I got to
Yeah,
tell you, like a good 5 or 6 hours
sure.
on some of your roads are a little, you know, this. I got a good workout, you know, but
Well, that's to do with a lot of politics. We can't. We don't. We have no say in that.
that's crazy. But
Yeah.
it was worth it. It was worth the bumpy ride getting there. Oh, just to ask me, man. I'll come to India in a heartbeat. And you know, my my first love is Mr. Big. I mean, I'd ask Mr. Big first.
Hmm.
You know, you guys want
Hmm.
to go to India? And they go, nah, we got other things going on. I'll go, okay, the door's open. I'm ready, you know?
All right. You spoke of the hiatus, the period for Mr. Big, right? So "To Be With You" was a massive hit in the sense that it was going nuclear on all musical charts in terms of success, and then later Paul left the band, right?
Did he?
After
He left the bed?
I
Oh,
mean,
a long time
it
ago.
was
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. After a couple of years, do you feel that you could have done something in terms of safeguarding the interest of the band? Did you ever feel that the band would have had a different roadmap altogether if you all stayed well knit throughout?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like, listen, you're leaving a big chunk out, because when Paul left, and it was, I mean, it was really sad, and we didn't know what to do with ourselves. But months later, maybe a month or a year later, we got Richie Kotzen in the
Correct.
band.
Correct.
That altered the band's. It still was the foundation of the band, right? Still had the same kind of music, but Richie added like this kind of
Sure.
cool soul element to it, kind of sleazy Rolling Stones, country rock vibe to it. I mean, he was brilliant. And he was, I mean, I miss Paul Gilbert, but I mean, I'm not saying even second best. I mean, he was as good to
Correct.
me anyway. And for me, it was great because um we did vocals together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we wrote a song called "You Don't Have to Be Strong," where we did this Righteous Brothers, maybe rock and roll Hall and Oates vibe to it.
Oh wow.
And yeah,
My
it's another
favorites.
song.
My all-time
Oh,
favorites.
Suffocation, Shine. I mean, man, I love playing with Richie. But your question was,
Yeah. Could you have done something
yeah,
to safeguard the
oh,
interests of the band?
absolutely, man. I always thought, I mean, it's unfortunate that, okay, Paul left for not reasons unknown. I'm not gonna like spill the beans right now. I mean, like there was just too much drama in the band. I don't know why, because we were riding on such a big wave.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like, look, me and my Mr. Big Mouth, who knows? Maybe it could have been me, it could have been other people, you know. But it was Paul left, and we were like, oh, now what are we doing? And then we got Richie, but we had too many ups and downs.
Sure.
Even after Richie, the band imploded basically, and we just
True.
kind of disappeared off the face of the earth for about 6 years, maybe 7. And we all did our own thing, you know. Billy, I think maybe it was working with Steve Vai then, I don't remember. He did his thing. Richie did his thing with Pat Torpey, actually playing drums with Richie, doing a
Correct.
solo stuff. Paul, I know he was doing clinics,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if he was teaching then, but he was doing solo albums. But I saw them. You know, there was no. I don't. I like to think there was no, like, you know, hate or anything. Oh God, I hope not. But you know, I saw Paul a bunch of times at clinics, and I mean, I didn't call Billy. I was giving him some space, and he was giving me some space. But you know, I wanted to tell you. I don't know if this is common knowledge for everybody, but
Mm-hmm.
I reached out to Billy after many years. My son was learning how to play the bass guitar. He wanted to learn how to play the bass guitar.
Oh, lovely.
Do you know the story at all?
Not at all. I haven't heard of it.
So Billy, I mean, my son Dylan goes, Dad, I want to learn how to play the bass guitar. I'm like, what? You don't want to be a singer? You know? And he goes, I would, you know, his mother looked up online and everything to find a left-handed bass. We couldn't find one.
Oh, okay.
He's left-handed. And so that was kind of, I reached out to Billy Sheehan. This is what I do when I type. This is me. It's more like this. So I reached out to him, and I talked about the bass, and we kind of talked like, "Hey man, how you doing?" Really small talk, and he goes, "Well, my company Yamaha doesn't make a left-handed bass for a little kid anyway. If I ever see one, you know, I'll let you know." And this was for Dylan's birthday. This was November, and so Christmas time came around. It was right a couple days before Christmas. A big box comes to the house, and it's a blue. It wasn't. He found it in a Japanese pawn shop. He says,
Oh, okay.
and he kind of rewired it and everything, and he put
Lovely.
some Billy Sheehan stickers on it, really cute. You know, like the skeleton with his camouflage hat and a, you know, just Billy Sheehan stuff to make it look
Great.
like a Billy Sheehan bass. You know, and it was surreal to me because there's my son. Oh, and he also got an instructional book
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and a video. So I hadn't talked to Billy in a good 5 years, 6 years maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And we're standing in front of our little Christmas tree, and there's my little 4-year-old son with a bass on, a tiny bass, but on him it's huge, and he's listening to like fundamental, like the really low voice of Billy Sheehan, bass guitar 101, and this is how you hold it, that kind of stuff. It was surreal to me, and it touched my heart, not to sound corny, but I wrote him back and I said, God, thank you so much, man. I'm a friend for life. I don't remember what I said, but it was an olive branch in a way. And we got to talking. We started talking a lot. And he goes, and we were talking about how maybe we can get the band back together, which really made me happy. And then a kind of an ironic twist. I was playing in Naples, Italy, and I'm opening to some band I don't even know. Because we're late. We're getting there to this. It's band shell in the middle of a downtown area in Naples, and a van pulls up, and Richie Kotzen comes out. I go, oh, I'm opening to you. That's cool. Pat Torpey comes off. I'm like, this is like a high school reunion, So we play the gig. I talked to Pat backstage. Backstage was like an elementary school. It was in the middle of a downtown, and I don't know why I'm adding this, but I just think this is kind of cute and kind of funny. But we're sitting in those little school desks, and I'm squeezing my fat ass into this desk, and he's sitting at a desk. We're facing each other, and I go, "Hey, man, would you consider, getting the band back together?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "What about Billy and Paul?" And I go, "I got Billy." It's almost like collecting baseball cards. I got a Billy. So the next nut to crack was Paul, and Paul was playing at the House of Blues in LA, this is months have gone by. He's playing the House of Blues, and opening is Richie Kotzen with Pat Torpey again. And then I called Billy and I go, "Hey
man," I told him about the guys, and he goes, "I'm going to go down there and I'm going to talk to Paul." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome." So Richie opened, Paul played a set, and then it was inevitable. The guys all came out and they played 30 Days in the Hole together. So it was Paul on guitar, Richie on guitar, Billy on bass, and Pat on drums. And then Richie sang, and I was just at home going, waiting to see if anything was going to go online or not. And then people started talking about it. Where's Eric? Where's this thing? And then Paul wrote us all and said, "Hey, when I was looking over at Richie, I was imagining Eric being there, because the crowd, I forgot to tell you this, the crowd went nuts, louder than Paul." And look, I wasn't there, but I like to think that the crowd was louder than Paul's set, because the way he wrote me back right away and said, "Hey, look, I envisioned you singing. Let's get the band back together." So, but look, I'm going to tell you, I should have used that story in the end. Now I'm going to say about what coulda, woulda been for us. When we broke up, it was a shame and we got back together and we had our successes, but not like it could have been. We could have, here's Bon Jovi, and this was us, but we could have been here. You know what I mean? And that, I kick myself. I wish we would have been able to, put some of our differences aside, or, we just lost the point of what we were doing. We struggled. We played so many shows and toured with so many people and played really crappy gigs and really great gigs, and then just stopped, and then got back together, and it was great, but it could have been greater. Anyway, and then Billy called. Anyway, so yeah, too bad this is live. You could edit that and kind of turn that around, but
Sure.
damn it, we can't do that now.
A lot of fans in India wanted to know what exactly happened during your audition with Toto.
Uh-oh, you're gonna start getting into my past, huh? Got started getting all
In terms of the
secret
sequence, no,
stuff.
we just want to know the sequence of events as to what was it like, your entire experience. We would like to know the sequence of events during
All
the
right.
audition and what happened post that. Yeah.
Well, so I know Steve Lukather. I met him through, I had a producer when I was doing a solo album named Danny Korchmar.
Mhm.
Great producer, great song man. Oh, I love that guy so much. He produced my record and he brought Steve Lukather in to play some guitar part on it. And, who doesn't fall in love with Steve Lukather? Everybody. I mean, he's just a brilliant guitar player. He's so funny, so talented, so knowledgeable, just a cool hang. Everybody loves Luke. And hey, look, I've had a lot of great musicians play on my records, but he was the one that went and told his band and said, this kid is good. And I think we ought to consider him for Toto. So I was playing a solo gig in San Francisco after doing that record. And it was called Wolfgangs in San Francisco, packed, sold out. And Luke and some of the guys in the band and Toto came up. I think everybody except Jeff, maybe
Uh-huh.
Jeff Porcaro, but they brought Boz Scaggs, another
wow.
great artist with him.
Yeah.
And then Randy Jackson showed up because Randy Jackson from American Idol, and he was in Journey, and did all kinds of great stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent bass player. He played on the same solo album, so he
lovely.
showed up, and it was great. All these celebs, and they fell for me. I don't know what to say. And I went to LA after that, and I kind of practiced with him for about 8-9 days and sung all the tunes, man. I mean, it was incredible. Hold the Line, Africa, Georgie Porgy, Pamela. Even they were doing that Fahrenheit album.
Correct.
And I went, David Page, his studio near his home is called the Manor.
All right.
And I went into the Manor, and this is a true story, I swear to God. They played the song, I'll Be Over You, the incredible song. But Steve, or Lukather, sung the guide vocal. And he goes, yeah, we want you to sing this song. And the first thing I said was, no, I don't think you sound awesome in it. And he goes, no, I'm not a singer. And I go, no, this is an incredible vocal. I don't want to do this song. I mean, I'll do it if you want me to, but I can't do it as good as you can. And then they went, all right, we won't do, I'm saying like I was indirect, or, I'm the one who got Steve Lukather to sing it. I wasn't at all, but I was his champion on that song. And they had me singing the song Fahrenheit, which is a lot of changes and funk and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I could do it now because I have a lot more experience, but I couldn't do it then. It's like Fahrenheit. I didn't know where the one was. I know, like I said, I don't read sheet music. I don't read, I'm not a real musician. I'm not a real boy. But I couldn't get it. And they were like, oh, wow. And I go, God, tomorrow, man, I'll do it tomorrow. And then the next day I went back and rehearsing with them, and I didn't get to go back into the studio with them. But yeah, it didn't work out. I went to a restaurant with all of them, and it was like, felt like the Godfather movie. We were all sitting around in this red leather couch seat with a table at an Italian restaurant. And it was like the whole band, and they seemed so taller than me, I mean, I'm like about 5'10", 5'11", but I felt like, 5 feet tall, and they're looking up.
And each of them are talking about how they really like me, but, and they're a great singer, but we don't know. And it was kind of a weird vote system because when one person would say, well, we're going to talk about it with ourselves. Okay, hey, take care, E. That was my nickname. Hey, take care, E. And they'd leave. And then there'd be 5 left, and then 4 left, and 3 left. And then the last one was Steve Luca there. And he goes, I think it's going to be okay. I think you got the gig. And I didn't get the gig. I read about it somewhere. This was, and they got Joe Williams,
Sure.
who's perfect. There's a lot of time. There's been a couple times that, look, I feel like I'm name dropping. I was asked to audition for Foreigner at one time. Yeah, and I was Mick Jones was an acquaintance of mine. I met him at a couple of different bars kind of situation, and he liked my voice, and he was pursuing me to basically audition or whatever. I think me and Mick Jones and Lou Gramm wrote a song and didn't finish it. That's how we kind of met. So Lou was not in the band anymore. He was looking for a singer. He sent me Cold as Ice and Urgent on basic tracks, the real basic tracks with he wiped the vocals off and he goes, do these songs. And I did Cold as Ice, and that was pretty good. That was actually really good. Urgent, holy moly, that was so high. The vocal was urgent, so urgent, really high, crazy high.
Yeah, it is.
But I kind of pulled it off with a little trickery of recording, and I sent it to him. And this is right when my children were born.
Okay.
I want to say this was around 2004, and I heard, man, I have a lot of friends that were on the road and miss their wives giving birth, or they missed birthdays and holidays and all that. And that wasn't going to be me, man. And I don't even know why I'm name dropping right now. I don't mean to do that. I just want to let you know that there's always something that comes up, the Toto thing, I didn't get it. I really wanted it. But things happen for a reason. I mean, what if To Be With You was, what if I would have showed Toto To Be With You? That would have been, I mean, that might have been great. I mean, I'll Be Over You was such, it's on my list of the top 10 most beautiful ballads ever. But yeah, To Be With You then, and then Foreigner, To Be With You. I don't know. But I didn't want to do anything. I had the luxury of staying home for a good 2 or 3 years to raise my children. But anyway, long story short, things happen for a reason, man. Mr. Big, best thing ever happened to me.
Lovely. What advice would you give to vocalists who need to serve their role in a band? How can one be a better vocalist for another artist when they're sessioning for another artist?
Oh, well, that's a different twist. Be a better artist. I don't really understand that. How can a vocalist be a better singer, or be a better singer doing somebody else's session? Is that what you just said?
Yes. How can they serve that role, in terms of being in a band? And how is it different from being a session artist for someone else?
Wow, it's an interesting question. I'm no stranger to a microphone. I mean, I'm really comfortable being on a microphone. I don't know. I've been doing a session for somebody. I always thought about that. Like maybe when a guitar player comes in and he's playing his best stuff, and he's only getting paid like $300 or something like that an hour, or not. I don't know how much they get paid, but he's playing his best stuff. I don't know. Or maybe a singer when they go in and I try to give 100% to anything I do. Some session people, they want me to, hey, could you, they're fans. So they go, that lick that you did in that one song in 2000, whatever. And could you do that? And I'm like, yeah, no problem. I mean, you're giving everything that you got for these folks. I, I I don't know. I really haven't. I never really thought about it, about doing. I'm the same person doing doing a session with Mr. Big. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I've done a multitude of different styles of music. I mean, I've sung heavy rock. I've sung metal. I can't believe it. I'm part of a rock opera called Avantasia. Some heavy metal stuff. I don't even know why they got me in this group. I don't know, maybe for jokes, I guess. I don't know, but metal. And then I did this series in Japan called Mr. Vocalist, which was big, grandiose ballads made popular by female artists.
Mhm.
And they wanted to have like a kind of a male twist to the songs. And so I approached that different. I've never done anything like that before, kind of, Michael Bublé kind of style. And I did it, and I was pretty damn good at it. I did about 3 or 4 albums with that project. But I mean, I'm not answering your question. I don't really. That's a really odd question. I mean, did I answer it by saying when I sing, anytime I get in front of a mic, it's me. I'm not altering my style or anything. Even if if you have a record that you're going to be putting out and you want me to sing on your record, I'm the same guy. It's just going to cost you a little bit more. I'm just kidding. Anyway,
That'd be a dream.
Am I kidding? I don't know.
Great. You did mention Japan. What impact did your time in Japan have in terms of your personality? It was a very sort of traditional atmosphere there. So, what impact did it make for you in terms of your personality?
My personality per se? Oh, they
Uh-huh.
loved it. They love me. I'm a class clown. They're not reserved. Like they used to be reserved back in the 80s. I remember when I know the guys in Journey and they went to Japan and the audience just sat there. They had to. They had like guards, actual police looking guards with white sashes,
Oh wow.
with white batons. Nobody got hit or anything, but they were like, sit down. It was like Footloose or something, nobody dances here. And then, past the 80s and into the 90s, they started getting a little looser. But my personality, it gets over big time because, I mean, at some point, Peter Pan inside me needs to grow up, but the Japanese love that, about me, or probably a lot of, I know my friends are going to completely give me crap about, oh, hey, Peter Pan. But they love the sort of the childishness
Self.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The clowning kind of stuff.
Now we're sort
I'm
of moving.
a grown ass man. I can't believe I'm talking this way. All right.
All right, so now we're gonna slightly move to a little more interesting segment, which is the rapid fire segment. And I'm gonna shoot like some very interesting questions for you. You can't really think a lot, all right? You gotta be very spontaneous there with your answers.
Go ahead.
Great. I needed that background.
This is gonna be like therapist type of questions. Like when I say a word, you say, all right, go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
What is your idea of an all-star rock band? Who'd be in it, dead or alive?
Billy Sheehan, Paul Gilbert, Pat Torpey, and yours truly. But if I had another choice besides Mr. Big, it would be Jimi Hendrix, Paul McCartney, Pat Torpey, of course, and maybe even I have a drummer that plays with me once in a while, Joey Casada. We'll put Joey Casada in there, and then on what did I say? Paul McCartney, Jimi Hendrix, Pat Torpy, and then you got to have a keyboard player. And the keyboard player would be
Billy Preston?
oh, good job. Good for you. Thank you. Yeah, Billy Preston. Oh man.
Right.
I was like, that's the way God planned it. That's the way God wants it to be. Yeah. Oh my God, Billy Preston. And he can sing too.
Sure.
And then you'd have, and then I have like 3 background singers, and they would be Janis Joplin, Aretha Franklin,
Oh, wow.
and what? Don't get in my dream. This is my, don't try to add stuff. Sorry. Was I
That's all
yelling?
right. That's all right.
All right. Singer would be this great singer that I love, great oh God, what's her name? One of my favorite female singers.
Natalie Cole?
Amanda Marshall.
Okay.
You ever heard of Amanda Marshall?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, I want your listeners, who
Sure
not
thing.
not your heavy rock listeners, but the listeners that like kind of ballads and softer kind of sides. Amanda Marshall, and listen to the song Dark Horse. Oh, every time I get off an airplane, I put the headphones on and I listen to Dark Horse when I'm walking through because it's got the beat and I'm walking to get my suitcase. It's just a melancholy, beautiful song. Anyway, Amanda Marshall. All right, next question. Let's go, Eric.
What is your favorite guilty pleasure song?
This is like Truth or Dare. Tell me again. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Take 2.
What is your favorite guilty pleasure song?
Song? Ooh, I really like Save Tonight by Eagle Eye Cherry.
All right.
You know that one. Like say safe tonight. Beyond the break of dawn, come tomorrow. I love that one, man. That's my. Oh, you were trying to. You probably thought like I'd say like Living After Midnight or something like some kind of metal. It's not gonna happen here, son. All right.
What is that one song that always makes you cry?
I had a girlfriend once, long time ago. There was a song called Anytime by Brian McKnight.
Okay.
It's a tearjerker.
Okay.
I mean, there's been, and then I don't know why I cry. I cry kind of like tears of joy for this song. It's a beautiful song. Lyrically, I'm still trying to figure out what it means, kind of, but Whiter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum. That one, yeah, that kind of gives me chills. Doesn't make me cry, but it makes me okay to be in a bad mood. Just, yeah. All right.
If you could be a lot of other things apart from being a musician, what might you be?
I once worked as a barback for a bartender.
Was that fun?
No, I washed dishes and I cleaned glasses and I vacuumed beer-soaked rugs, and I put up the marquee of bands that one band, I remember I put a marquee up at 3:00 in the morning, and the band was called Rutabaga Boogie Band. Do you know how long I was up there on that ladder? Long time. I don't know what I'd be. I mean, I think about that all the time. You know what I really like lately? Oh God, I'm totally burying myself. I like gardening.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you pick up a passion for bonsai during your time in Japan?
Because of Japan? Oh, look at you. No, I'm more privy to sunflowers.
Okay. I'll take that. Great. So I have one last question, which is going to be the deciding question as to how you did in terms of rapid fire today. Down.
My rapid fire was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. You probably have 20 questions, but I embellished on all of them. I apologize.
Down in the distant horizon, what would you want to be remembered as?
A good person, a funny person, you know, making people happy. That's kind of so silly, but you know, yeah, I would just like to be. I mean, a good singer, I guess. You know, like I'm sure I touched a few. I get the emails and I get the letters, and people say, you know, my songs touched me and you know, got me through relationship problems, and my heart feels better because of your songs. You know, that makes me feel great. I just like to be kind of known as a really good guy and not like anything negative. I would hate it if I had to, like, if I was reincarnated, or not reincarnated, but like in between reincarnation, and I was like kind of hovering around the sky and heard people talking crap about me. Oh, I'd be so upset. So yeah, I like to be known as like a good guy. Yeah.
Lovely take to life. Before we conclude, I'd like you to tell the people of India. This interview is also going to be additionally aired as part of my audio podcast series, which is going to be out in the next couple of weeks. And it's going to be additionally aired on Big FM Shillong and Aizawl, two incredible radio stations in India. And
I believe you. I believe you. I mean, both places are like keeping rock alive, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
So before we leave, we would love to have a musical note from you for the people of India and rest of the world.
That's an E for me.
Mm-hmm.
No, okay. What do you want? You want me to sing something?
Yes. Some song that's very close to your heart, you know?
What if I suck? Can't edit it.
I don't think so.
Oh man, this is live, Martin. And it's getting late too. Super fantastic. Everything is beautiful. Nothing's too tragic. When it comes to happy people, bedtime stories, morning glories, blue skies, and the perfect life for you and me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right.
Lovely. As we continue to celebrate the dozen marvelous musical pieces, the showmanship you have displayed in terms of your vocal abilities, your songwriting, plays a very rich, intense life we just sort of await. So we would love to keep hearing a lot more music in many more years to come. And thank you so much for giving me this privilege. This has been a blessing, a great honor for me. Please do stay in touch. I'd love to host you when you come down to my country. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's such a pleasure talking to you. So you're such a nice young man.
Thank you. Thank you for that. It means a lot coming from you.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.